right, everybody, welcome back to the Travi Wavi. I am your affable host, Travis Eason, local Renaissance man and podcast host. And we've been doing the wonderful Travi Wavi now for over a year. Please like and subscribe if you're following right now. We would love to have you be a part of this as we continue to move forward. I am real excited to bring you my guest today. We've got a lot of fun things to talk about, but a couple of housekeeping bits. Every Thursday morning around 10 a.m., we go live with the Travi Wavi, downtown and beautiful, historic downtown Abilene, Texas, the storybook capital of America. And you're welcome to come down and join our live audience and watch. We're drinking some amazing coffee from next door at Majestic Coffee Shop, allegedly serving Onyx. And I want to thank my production team, Tim Proser from Infocus Digital and Sam Wolf from Neon Parrot Live Studios. And we're just really grateful to have you guys behind the cameras and in the cockpit every time we do a Travi Wavi. Well, friends, I bring you today Mike Stevens.
Hey there.
Hi, Mike.
Travis, it is so good to be here.
I've been wanting to have you on the channel for months, and I'm glad that we finally got this.
It worked out, stars aligned, whatever.
Perfect.
We're doing this.
So let me ask you the question I ask all my first-time guests. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger sister, Michelle, who lives in Colorado Springs.
Very cool.
With her husband, and now I'm gonna go blank, Clay, and I think they've got one daughter who's living adjacent to them.
Okay.
And then another daughter lives there, and then they've got two kids that live in Nashville. Of all places. Then I've got a younger brother, Matt. He was the baby of the family, and he's got a son who is playing baseball in Long Beach, California for one of the junior colleges.
Very cool.
And a daughter who is playing volleyball in Lubbock.
Fun. So, do you stay in touch with your siblings?
I do. I try to.
Yeah.
I try to. We've all gone our ways and we have our lives, but we send the texts at holidays and birthdays.
Good. That's good. That's good. How did you end up in Abilene, Mike?
Was born and raised in Lubbock, went to school at Tech, graduated, moved to Dallas with my wife. We lived in Dallas for about 20 years. And then she, at one point, the housing market seemed to be doing pretty good. And she said, what if we sold our house and moved back to West Texas so we were closer to our parents? Translation, I want to be close to Mom. And so I said, sure.
Yeah.
Let's look and see what we can do. We put the house on the market. It sold in a week.
Nice.
And then it was like, okay, I guess we've got to do something now. So we came to Abilene, did a job search, had some interviews. I got hired by Hardin Simmons as an adjunct instructor of computer science.
Very cool.
She got a job as a bookkeeper with a company. And a month later, we were here in Abilene.
Very good. Very good.
And have been here now for almost 20 years.
That's great. So that would have been, what, 2005-ish?
2006. August 2006 is when we moved here.
And we know each other through, we're going to talk a lot about theater, but
Theater? Why am I here?
Yeah,
theater? What do I know about theater?
I'm going to ask you some computer science questions too, but on the theater thing, how did you get involved in theater? Is that something that you've always had a bug for?
No, I really hadn't. You know, I look back at the journey that I've been on. I was in band in high school. I didn't have time for theater. I never went to any of the productions that our theater did. And I know that they did productions because I can go back and I can look at the yearbook. But I didn't go to any of them.
Okay.
I went to my first theater production at my high school when I was at college, that they were doing Diary of Anne Frank, and I'm not even sure why I felt the need to go.
Okay.
But I went to it, and it was like, wow. You know, I've heard the story, I've read the story, but now seeing it on stage, there's something more real about it.
Had an impact on you.
First kind of live theater. I mean, I did theater in elementary school.
Sure.
I was Wiggleworm in Wiggleworm Saves Christmas.
Very good.
And the only line I can remember is, have no fear, Wiggleworm is here. That was in about fourth grade.
Yeah.
Fifth grade, I did tech for a theater production we did Rip Van Winkle. And I had one of those old Radio Shack 50-in-1 electronic kits where you could do sound effects and different things. And so I had sound effects that I did. So I was doing technical theater with this little rinky-dink kit. And then nothing. My wife and I got involved in a church in Mesquite where we were living. And that church, as part of its outreach, had a drama ministry where we would do little 5-minute dramas before the pastor spoke.
Okay.
Not skits.
Right.
Skits are what Cub Scouts do around the campfire. We were doing drama because it was meaty.
Yeah.
Skits. And my wife got pulled into it. Doing a drama about the 12-step program where she had to eat a plate on stage of Twinkies about this high and just start eating through it, admitting that she has a problem as she's eating through it. She had to do that 3 times.
Oh, my tummy ache.
Oh, it was wild, but she was hooked. And I was like, I'm glad you found this.
Yeah, yeah.
And the director of that ministry, a friend named Paul Avery, came up and he goes, Mike, you're not off the hook yet. I need you to do something. And so we got involved in this drama ministry where basically every week somebody in the team was putting on a 5-minute play on the stage of our church. And sometimes we would build props. Sometimes it would just be, chairs that we were acting around. And I got hooked.
I love it.
I didn't do, and I don't want to say that's not legitimate theater because it is. Yeah. But it's not theater that people think about theater, going to the theater, paying, your money out of your pocket to sit in the audience. I wasn't doing that. Kelly and I were going to those things, and we're seeing a lot of good theater, mostly in the Dallas area. Sometime we'd venture out and go to Fort Worth. Sure. But theater Arlington was a favorite place of us. Dallas Theater Center. We went to A Christmas Carol multiple years and loved that production. Garland Civic Theater was an impactful place because they did a production once of, and now I'm going to go blank. It was a Hitchcock. Good gravy.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to me. They did this Hitchcock play.
Almost there.
Almost there. It's right there. We'll randomly be talking about something else, and I'll Rosebud. But they did the play in black and white.
Oh, fun!
And I had never seen one in black and white before. And they did this in black and white, the whole play, and you get so immersed in it. Yeah. And then at the very end, one of the characters turned, and when she turned around, the corsage that she had been wearing that was gray was red.
Oh, wow.
And then her husband turned around, and the red rose that he had pinned, or the rose that he had pinned, was now red, and his scarf was red, and red started popping up all over the stage, and it was just like,
that's good theater.
I've got to do something like this. Which then led to us going to, and I told you part of this story, we went to a theater, a community theater in Mesquite that has since done better productions, but we saw a production of Harvey.
Which is either a hit or miss show.
And it was a miss. It was that 3-hour train wreck. The Elwood P. Dowd actor, the director had never pulled him back in, and so he was doing, as I joke, the bad Dana Carvey doing Jimmy Stewart. Why can't you see this white rabbit? I mean, he's right here. And he was doing that, and it was just awful.
Yep.
You were cringing for him. And then he would forget to do it. And he's delivering these beautiful, wonderful lines from this favored play. And then he would stop with these big saucer eyes of, oh no, I'm not doing Jimmy anymore. No. And a friend of mine was involved in that theater, a friend from church who I had done church productions with. She sent me an email literally the Monday morning after Harvey and said, Mike, we were wondering if you'd be interested in coming and auditioning for our next show, fried green tomatoes or bad year for tomatoes, something like that. And I got on the computer and thought I was emailing my wife. And I said, I can't believe I'm getting this email. There's no way on God's green earth I will ever audition for a show here. Send. Oh, no, I just sent it to Becky instead of Kelly. But, so we started going to theater there, but not involved. When we moved here, we just started, I mean, it was the same thing. We got to Abilene. We started trying to find out what theater was going on here. We had already been to multiple productions at ACU because we would come during the summer.
Oh, there's good theater in the summer there.
And they would have, at that point, they were still, we couldn't make it in for the Shakespeare Festival, but they always late summer were doing like a dinner theater. And we would come to that. My mother-in-law was big in buying tickets for that. She and my father-in-law, they would invite us. We went and saw Brighton Beach Memoirs. We saw something else. Something else by Neil Simon. We saw several things there. But we got to Abilene, and it's like, okay, what else are we going to do with our time?
Yeah.
And instead of just sitting back like a lot of people in A-Town seem to do, saying, there's nothing to do in Abilene. We said, what are we going to do? You know, I'm working at Hardin Simmons, and I know that they've got a theater program, and I heard that they were doing this one particular play. One of my students in my database or in my computer science class is in this play. Let's go see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Victoria, it was a train wreck. It was another one of those ones. And it was like, I don't know why we went to see this. Yeah. At the same point, we heard that McMurray was doing a show called Baby with the Bathwater. David Ainsworth was directing it. A couple who I know well now, I've actually been in productions with them. Taylor Compton and Hillary Compton were like the leads in it, and Robin Daniels, who used to do a lot more theater in town, was in it. A very strange play, and I didn't like the play. But at that point, I could draw the division between I don't like the story, but I really like the performances.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And, you know, most of the performances, that bucket list that I've told you about, my bucket list isn't shows I want to do or shows I want to see. They're people I want to perform with. They're places I want to perform.
Which is pretty great.
I got through with that show, and it's like, I don't ever want to see that again. But I would love to work with Taylor. I would love to work with, and I could go down the line of everybody who was in that and say, this person brought this to the show, and I love their performance. Don't like the story, but the performance was great. Didn't do anything with that. Just, it was like, okay. And we saw other shows. Then one afternoon, I'm sitting at my desk working, and my phone rings. I pick it up, answer it. It's Philip Craik, who was the director of theater at McMurray at that time. He goes, Mike, I want to ask a favor. Okay, Philip, I'll come over and get this working on your... No. I want to ask you if you'll audition for a show. Okay, Philip, what's the show? Little Women. Philip, I'm neither little nor am I a woman. No. I want you to audition for the grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never auditioned in my life. Okay, so as a computer person, Google audition, have a song to sing. I don't know what to sing. I'm a little teapot, short and spout. I got cast.
Yeah.
And some wonderful people who I still stay in contact with. We developed that Little Women family of this, and Philip took a chance on me. As I joke with people, I'm a triple threat. You know, you love triple threats in theater. I'm not that triple threat. I can't act, I can't sing, I can't dance. Fortunately, there was absolutely no dancing for me in the show, but there was singing. That the grandfather sings this wonderful song with Beth about going to Boston. And I sang that with a young lady who is now married and has kids, Hannah Squire. And it was just one of my favorite moments that I'd ever had. And seeing Amanda Hollis, who was playing Jo, singing Astonishing. I still almost get weepy when I think about that. Because those memories are so strong. And it made me a part of a family that we hadn't had since we were in that drama ministry back at Meadow Creek Community Church in Mesquite. And then I didn't do anything. Then Sean Hill asked me if I would audition for Hairspray. And I'm like, I don't even know the story. I mean, I've seen the movie, but I didn't know there was a musical. And he said, yeah, I want you to audition for Edna. Wait a second, what? I want you to audition for Edna. So I went all in. I learned Mama Morton's song, When You're Good to Mama, from Chicago, and came in and belted that, and I got cast as Edna.
Nice.
So I shaved my legs, shaved the lower part of my chest, started wearing a fat suit, and went and learned how to dance in heels.
I love it. That's commitment, Mike.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the best roles I've ever had.
How great.
So, and I've just moved from there. You know, after that, I was telling you that a friend of mine from McMurray, Carrie Henson, was in a show at ACT inspecting Carol. We had seen another one of those train wreck shows at ACT. And it was like, you know, a year and a half, we didn't go back. Went and saw her in Inspecting Carol, and it's like, this is really good. What are they doing next? Looked in the program. They're doing Harvey. Oh, no. You know, that last experience with Harvey was such a bad thing. We'll give it a try. Went and saw Harvey. Scott Miller as Elwood P. Dowd. Renee Scott as the sister. And it was a wonderful production. I fell in love with Harvey all over again. During intermission, I'm talking with Kim Baker, who was the box office manager at that time. She started talking to me and said, well, do you have any interest in theater? Well, I've done some things. Her son had met me during Little Women. I had taken pictures with Brendan. And so we kind of knew each other there. And she goes, why don't you audition for a show at ACT? How come you haven't yet? I didn't know. She said, auditions next week for Kitchen Witches. Come out and audition. Came out and auditioned. There were 2 guys auditioning over 2 nights for one speaking role. I got cast.
Attaboy.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, and you've served in some capacities at ACT over the years. You said you were...
I've been on the board. I was on the board just before ACT had to shut down for a year. We went dark. We didn't shut down completely. We did a production called Who Killed Dorothy Dingle at the Abilene Women's Club. But for the rest of the year, it was really retooling what the theater was about, trying to get finances in order and all. And then I served on the board more recently in the mid to late 2010s. Served just on the board, then started serving as the production vice president, served 2 terms there, and then a term as president.
If I'm remembering correctly, ACT is one of the oldest community theaters in Texas.
Yes.
It's 75 plus years old.
ACT started, our very first show was in 1954. We did a show called Apple of His Eye. Don't ask me who the writer of it was. I knew that before, but they did this play called Apple of His Eye. They did it in the old Abilene Municipal Theater, where Safety City is now. One of my favorite stories about that production that Tony Redmond, as the researcher that he is at the library, found for me. Apparently, opening night, a couple of guys wandered into the theater just before curtain, and they were escorted down to front row seats to see this play. And they got up during intermission and they said, well, that was good, but really we came for the wrestling. We came here to see, well, that was over at the Round Building
it's funny.
in the fairgrounds instead. And I don't know if they ever came back or not, but I love that story. ACT operated as a bunch of nomads from 54 to 58, doing shows at the Municipal Theater, at McMurray, in both Ryan and Matthews Auditorium. They just performed wherever they could, but they were putting on full seasons of 6 shows per season. In 1958, and I'm not sure all the circumstances, but at that point is when they moved into what is now ACT's main stage theater. And the first production they did was Inherit the Wind. And they've been going since.
Going strong
there.
since.
In the late 60s, we acquired the old Grace Museum, the art building to the south of the theater. And at about the same time, we got what was called then the Carousel Theater, the children's theater from the city of Dallas, or city of Abilene, which we now call the Round Building.
Is anything going on in the Round Building?
We're using it mostly as storage. As far as I can tell, after Carousel used it, and there were a few more children's productions, ACT wasn't using it, but ACT loaned it to Abilene Repertory Theater in the mid-70s to whenever, to let them use it when their theater burned down on Walnut and 2nd, Walnut and 1st.
Interesting.
And so ART used that theater for a while.
Interesting. So it is fascinating that Abilene has such a strong, gallant history with theater, and yet maybe not everybody knows that we have such a strong theater here in town.
And I wish I could go back further. I've seen programs for theater that was being done in 1932.
Wow.
That it was the community players, but whether it was a fully organized, I can't find any information about it. And I don't have the resources that Tony has.
Yeah.
So I can't go back. But it's a rich history of a lot of theater.
Something Sam and I have talked about, and he knows more of the history about this particular building and where we're sitting on this stage today. But, this was a folly house. There was a lot of things happening right here in this space, at the turn of last century.
Oh, yeah.
So what was going on here, I don't know. But certainly there was entertainment happening.
Theater has a rich history. For somebody that has more know-how than I to be able to do that. And I would read the book. Maybe we can get Jay Moyer to
That'd be great.
To do the hidden history of Abilene theater.
Yeah, that'd be great.
1900 to 1940. Jay, if you're listening, there's an idea for you.
Help us out. I think that theater will. So we're at this weird kind of spot in time, right? It's 2026. We are on our phones all the time. We want to be entertained all the time. All this digital media, and there's still something very alive, very healthy and alive about live performance in theater. And to me, that kind of warms my heart. It gives me a sense of security, just knowing that that way of storytelling continues to stay front of mind for us as we're getting older, as we're moving into other things. You know, like when film came on board, everybody thought theater's dead.
Oh, yeah.
But that has not been the case.
Well, and when television came in, film, theater or movies only have a limited lifespan now. Theater, first of all, I'm going to say, as long as people care, there will be theater because it's a living, active, breathing activity.
Art form.
You have to be involved with it to go to it. And you're never sure what's going to happen. Yeah. Because I've been telling my cast already this week, I said, one thing I want you to do as you're developing your character is think of things that are happening around you. How would your character handle those? Because theater is never perfect. It's always messy. There are always going to be problems. In a production of Hairspray that I was in, during one of our matinee performances, the music director kicked the power cord out of the laptop that all the sound was being run from. And the time that the batteries ran down to nothing was just as I give the cue line to cue the final song in the first act. And so I give my cue line, no music. Give my cue line again, no music. But there's a voice from the back of the theater. And this is in Ryan. There's only 6 or 7 rows. Back of the theater is not real far away. The music director, sorry, folks, the computer crashed. and we all just kind of looked at each other, and it's like, okay, what do we do? We can all go screaming off the stage, or in Edna mode, I looked at Motormouth Maybill. Rosetta Moore was playing her. I love Rosetta. I look at her and I go, Motormouth, I love your hair. What, could you do anything with my hair? And she goes, oh, girl, I could fix it up like this. But you know what? I love how you're dressed. Do you think you could? Oh, I could fix you up some stuff. We went back and forth. It seemed like for 2 hours going back and forth like this. And all the other ladies on stage are just looking at us like, what is going on? Well, he got the cord plugged back in. Still have the sound system. So Sam, you'll love this. He has the sound system plugged in. It boots back up. What happens with Windows XP when it boots up?
Boop, boop, boop.
Boop, 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 boop. That comes on over the speakers in Ryan or in the Ryan Auditorium. I just look up, darn Baltimore Electric. Music kicks in. We kick in, finish that song, and we leave the stage, and we're like, what just happened?
Saved it.
What just happened?
Yep.
Those are the moments you don't want those to happen, but those make you feel more alive.
Yeah.
I can understand people having the rush of just doing improvisational theater. I'm not the one to do that.
You're doing it right now.
Yeah, but we are. But at the same point, I was thinking about this earlier. I found the TV show The Chosen this year. Came late to the game, but found it and loved it. Associated with The Chosen is they've got a web show where they have one of the actors who interviews the other ones.
Okay.
And it's called Dinner with Spies.
Okay.
And he said, it's not interrogation, it's conversation.
Very good.
And so he's in his Roman, outfit, discussing with the guy who plays Jesus why he likes this particular food. And they're just chatting, and it's like, this is fun.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's improvisational.
Well, it's improv. I mean, just on this little Travi Wavi channel, this big Travi Wavi channel.
Hey, it's a year old.
I don't mind sitting and talking for an hour live, knowing that we're not going to edit. Generally, I mean, this is going out to you, wonderful audience, right now.
Wait a second. We're not going to fix all this in post?
No, not at all.
Down to the 15-minute Mike saying hi and bye?
But I think sometimes it does make some of my guests a little nervous from the get-go, just to think, oh, can I sit and have a conversation for an hour with someone? But it's really pretty easy. I try to make it pretty easy.
Well, you're very friendly, and you talk about subjects that I'm interested in, and I'm going to talk back to you.
I want to shift gears a little bit. We're going to come back to theater.
We going back to computer science?
Yes.
Okay, the databases I normally work in are SQL, though I cut my teeth on Microsoft Access.
What do you think about the Stargate facility and the Lancium project north of town?
I hope that it was well thought out, because first of all, we're bringing in a lot of people. There is so much housing being built in town.
RV parks.
Are we still going to need all that housing when they finish with the construction?
Nope.
So what's going to happen with the new neighborhood of, as my mother-in-law calls them, the barn houses that is being built near my house? I mean, I don't care about necessarily property values. I'm not planning on going anywhere. But what happens with all those houses?
Yep.
Are they just going to stand empty in 6 years, in 7 years? We're already in drought conditions. AI requires a load of water cooling. Where's that coming from? And are we robbing Peter to pay Paul? And where's that cost going to end up?
And what are we expecting as an outcome from all of this? I mean,
your Google's going to work faster.
Yeah, or like I'm going to have an AI agent that's going to be able to like play the stock market for me or find me new clients.
Sure, and do it at half the time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem like the there's not enough punch in the bowl for me.
They keep on talking about the AI bubble and when it's going to pop. I have no idea. Yeah. I mean, I've gone out and played with it. I have asked Chat GPT to take a picture of me and my wife that we were sitting in an Arby's and give us Christmas dress. Make us look like Yeti. Do this, do that.
It's all novelty, right?
It wouldn't let us look like Muppets. You put it in Muppets, or put in, make us look like Muppets. It said, I'm sorry, that would violate copyright. Make me look like felt puppets. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I can do that. It's all novelty. It's like fun and games.
It's novelty. I know that there are people who use it to help ease their jobs. I know we had a professor at McMurray who will go unnamed. Sorry, Alicia. We'll fix that in post, right? I love you, Alicia. Who 5 years ago we sat in a meeting and she goes, I want to bring up AI. It's starting to become available so people can use it in classes. We've got to stop this. What are we going to do? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Now, she comes in talking about giving assignments to students that require them to use AI to accomplish them. I'll be honest, I've used AI to write queries that I use because I just can't get over that hurdle. I need a query that joins this table with this table on this value and aggregates it to this. And AI spits it out right there.
Yeah.
I plug it in, do a little couple of tweaks to it. It's exactly what I need. That's all I know about AI.
Yeah.
I know that there's the boards on Facebook that if you post something AI, they'll kick you off of them.
Interesting.
Because they we want to see a picture of the USS Enterprise that you've created. We don't want to see one that you told AI to create. Yeah, I'm a big Star Trek nerd.
Yeah.
I don't care who creates it. If you give me good artwork, I want to look at it. But I had one friend that after I posted the pictures of Kelly and I that I had run through AI, she posted a picture of her and her dog. And you could tell it was AI added to add a Christmas tree behind it and the Christmas hat, because she's sitting there with her arm around her dog and she's got two hands. And I pointed that out to my wife. I said, should I tell her? She goes, oh, yes.
That's funny.
Oh, a day later, the picture was gone. But, you know, have I played with AI to even write some plays?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you asked it to write scripts?
Yes, I have. I have. AI, give me a script in the style of Neil Simon of two roommates who are robbing a bank. Okay, how's this?
Yep.
And it's only about a 10-minute play,
Yeah.
but it was actually a pretty good script.
When Ben and I did the parade, the Christmas parade, I was thinking, all right, AI, write me a script, conversation between two guys that are, commenting on the parade, but there's also a producer. What is give me a thing. And it did. Now, was it great? No. Was it terrible? No. And I think the pattern recognition part of it is definitely interesting. And then from what I'm gathering, that its ability to do complex spatial thinking, like with protein structures, being able to bend, now we understand how proteins bend, which is fabulous. So I think some of that like biotechnological area could have a bigger benefit, but I mean, we've been trying to solve cancer for 70 years and we still haven't really gotten there. So I'm kind of like, this is just another bright, shiny thing,
I think right now it's the bright and shiny thing that is on everybody's mind. I hope it doesn't take another 70 years for it to mature, so that we'll actually use it. But the secret to saving people from cancer could be embedded somewhere in AI.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
That is well outside my area of expertise. I mean, I have told people I'm not a doctor. I've never played one on TV. I've been one on stage now. But, that and 50 cents will get you a bottle of water at the theater. I'm not a doctor. But it could happen, and I could see it. I could see the patterns there with what we're doing with CRISPR technology, being able to go and
gene editing
fix one gene that changes a person's life. How far down the road is that? We've been spending a lot of focus on cancer. How long?
Yeah.
How long do we need to wait?
Well, and the kind of bigger arching question here for me is like, okay, let's say that artificial general intelligence is going to happen next month, okay, in February. I mean, we've seen a lot of things happen this last year.
Oh yeah.
So let's say it comes online and it solves, it can take you and know everything about you and what's wrong with you and fix you, right?
No, there's nothing that's that good.
But, let's say it does. Let's say it allows us to live, much longer, healthier lives. And at the same time, it's taking all of our productivity away as far as labor. So what are we going to do as human beings if we're living on this planet with excess time and energy and money and excess health? Theater. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why we would want to adjust and alter, 100 years ago, I would be an old man at 47.
You are so young. I'm pushing 62. In a month, I will be 62.
But like 100 years ago,
Yes.
had you lived to 62, you would have been ancient.
Yeah,
Because just we don't, So I don't understand what the end goal is, unless this is like the second coming of Christ or something, and we're all going to live on heaven, and we have a big computer that tells us what to eat next.
I leave that for the real philosophers versus me being an armchair philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get back to theater? No.
We sure can.
I mean, it is true. What if everything comes about from AI that's going to make this glorious paradise that we live in? Then what?
Then what?
And part of me, as you were going there, the skeptical part of me was, and I've never seen it, but I've heard the scene from Wall-E, where the fat people are sitting in the floating chairs,
sipping on their Slurpees,
and watching TV,
Yep.
or whatever they're watching at that point. I don't want that to happen.
No.
Part of why I've gotten so involved in theater, and you and I have discussed this before. I've got my thing that I do every week. Part of the reason that I did that is because, first of all, and I've mentioned it, I hate it when people say, there's nothing to do around here. Open your eyes. There is plenty to do. You may need to step out of your comfort zone. I mean, it may not be everybody who wants to go to a play in Trent, Texas. But you know what? The high school's putting on some pretty good shows out there.
Yep.
Make that trip.
Yep.
High school theater and middle school theater, the stuff that our friend Jana Beck does with Abilene Christian School. Wow.
Yep.
And not just Jana. Maddie, who is the theater teacher at Madison Middle School. Last year they did Wizard of Oz, and a fantastic production. They did an even better production of Frozen.
Wow.
And the scene, I love watching videos on YouTube of where in the big Broadway productions, they're getting ready to do Elsa's costume change and how they do that. And boom, it happens. And suddenly where she was wearing this green satiny dress, now she's wearing a slinky blue dress. Amazing. Yes, I was watching, and it wasn't as smooth as it could be. And the hem of her blue gown was hanging out underneath the bottom of the green gown. It's a middle school production. I will cut some slack. She did wonderful. That transition could have been a nightmare, could have been a train wreck. Boom. And there was no hesitation in it. Wow.
Yeah.
The productions that different high schools do, and I try to get to the middle school productions. They just hit, and they're all hitting at the same time. That's what I dislike about theater in Abilene.
Is the scheduling.
Is it all happens at the same time. The productions at the high schools, and again, favorite of mine, Wiley High School did Little Women the Musical.
They've got a great
a month
space.
ago. And they've got a great space. Their director, Maddie Jones, did a wonderful job. And Maddie had been in Little Women the Musical when Hardin Simmons did it. But she did a wonderful job with that. Where I saw you and your lady friend, at Puffs, at Abilene High. Kyle Martin and his team did a wonderful job. Were there things that they did that I sit back as a director and say,
why'd you do that?
I wish you had spent a little bit more time on this. And you spent a lot of time building this part of the set that then you didn't use. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
But it was a great production. Cooper did what is perhaps my favorite production of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, wow.
And it was on pretty much a bare stage with just some girders. And it wasn't like they were trying to do it like West Side Story.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like they were trying to capture what Leonardo DiCaprio did in his film several years ago, but they did a very good production. I could hear the actors. And with Shakespeare, sometimes that's half the battle.
Yep.
Again, were there things that Kimberly did with that production that I would disagree with? Yeah, spend a little bit more time with this.
Yeah.
Maybe, correct the actor on that choice. But it was a great production. I found a new love for Romeo and Juliet. And having heard it, having seen it several times, I'm real skeptical.
Yeah.
You got a story about two teenagers that fall into massive lust over a 5-day period, and how many people die?
Yep.
And so we're making this a romantic classic?
It's kind of weird.
That's
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare was
Shakespeare.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taming of the Shrew. Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
But you have those theaters, and that's just them. Again, Abilene Christian School. Man, I could brag on some of Jana's performers, but I don't have permission, and they're underage. But she's got she's had some students, and she's got some students now that are coming through that program. You watch those kids today, and granted, I'm almost 62, so a lot of them are kids. Those kids are going to be making headlines someday. There's a good chance you'll see them headlining on Broadway. That there's that kind of talent.
Well, Abilene's always had a ton of great talent. We've always sent, local kids that grew up here in Abilene, whether they're going through Abilene High School or Cooper or Abilene Christian schools. There's always a ton of talent. There's always a great group of kids coming up every year. And yeah, some of those kids go on and do some really incredible things.
Oh, yeah.
They skip college and go straight to Broadway or straight to a national tour. And then some go on to college and do all that thing. So it's something that you mentioned briefly, and I want to focus on for our audience, is that every week, it seems like every week you're putting this on Facebook, you draw up a really great schedule for local theater, our local theater community, and that's middle school, high school, college, Abilene Community Theater, Paramount, even the Broadway series.
Basically, any
everything.
theater that I can find that's happening live and local, if I can find out about it, I will put it in this, and I go for 2 months.
Okay.
So what I did with yesterday's post is I didn't include Dias Children's Theater doing their auditions because they did those on Monday, Tuesday. Those are over with.
Yeah.
But everything else going on for the next 2 months, I put on there. Because again, don't tell me nothing is going on in Abilene.
Well, and
I will prove you wrong.
And it's
I am
really
just
great that you've done that
tenacious.
resource, because you've been doing this now for a little bit. I've been following you, and it's really a great resource, especially if you're in the theater community or have been in the past and you're trying to reconnect, or even if you just want to know what shows are coming up, we're going to talk about you're directing Elephant Man at ACT. That's coming up here in about a month or so. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's a really difficult show.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to see what you do with that, because that's a show that could also be a quick train wreck.
Yes. And Charlie Huckel, part of me says I'm self-trained theater, because I really am not formally trained, but I'm more self-paced in training, because I've gotten in it and learned how to do it while doing it. There's a couple of exceptions, though. Directing, when I was first asked to direct, Victoria Spangler came to me at ACT and said, "Mike, we want you to direct a show next year." I said, "But I've never directed before." I had directed again at our church. I had directed a couple of our little things, but never something that's meant to make money for an organization. That extra, sorry about that, Sam, extra weight in doing that. And so I said, okay, I'll make an agreement with you. Let me take Charlie Huckel's directing class at McMurray. He's getting ready to start that. Let me take that, and then you can see my one act and decide if you want me to direct. They still put me on the schedule as director. And I went through that class, tried to absorb as much as I could. Really the one thing I remember from Charlie, I mean, there's a couple of things, but one of the things I remember most, transitions can make or break a play.
100%.
I've seen transition. We have done plays. I've been involved in plays, not directing them or acting them, but a transition that took 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Nope.
That is the epitome of the train wreck in slow motion that just keeps on hitting the wall. You've got to have quick transitions. Elephant Man it's really not broken into 1 and 2 acts if you look at the script.
Kind of like just is a single story.
It's a single story, but it's scene.
Yep.
There are 21 scenes in Elephant Man.
It's been a while since I've read that or seen it, but yeah, I mean, now I'm thinking back. Him and the psychiatrist is a lot, and then him and his sister
and Miss Kendall. There's things that really the way I'm going to treat it. I mean, there will be some where we've got this scene, and then this scene is distinguished from it. There are going to be other places where this scene is just going to flow right into this scene, that there's not going to be, there will be no indication to the audience that there's a scene change except on the projection screen. Again, thank you, Larry Wheeler, with the technology that you've brought to us. It will say scene 8, and he does it with one hand. Scene 9, he's building this church. It will flow there to continue with the storytelling, but there's not going to be a break in the scenes.
Are you going in Elephant Man? Are you going to be doing any sort of with the lead character? I mean, how are you going to tell the audience that this character is deformed and disfigured? Because I've seen it done a lot of different ways.
Well, and if you look at the movie, of course, the movie had John Hurt in the heavy prosthetic makeup, but still, it's John Hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to bring his acting chops to that. Bernard Pomerantz, the playwright, says in the preface that you should not try to duplicate the appearance of the Elephant Man with makeup. It should be more just a characterization. And so I'm going to beg, borrow, and steal from Broadway on that. When David Bowie portrayed John Merrick, when Mark Hamill portrayed John Merrick, when Bradley Cooper did it 2 years ago, portraying John Merrick, they didn't wear an ounce of prosthetics. They had stage makeup on, but it was all just carriage and contorting themselves. Pomerantz also writes in there that nobody who is portraying John Merrick should have a history of back problems, and they should see a physician. Because they're going to hold this position for quite a while, repetitively. And so that's what we're doing. In my mind, spoilers, the way I'm going to open and really, the Elephant Man, John Merrick, doesn't appear in the play until the third act, or at least, or in the third scene, in the way that I'm going to stage it. First, we're introduced to Freddie Treves, who is the doctor, the professor of anatomy, who takes the interest in him. We see him as he first comes to London Hospital, Whitechapel. Then the next scene is he finds out that there is a freak show, and Ross is selling his wares out on the street. Well, his wares is the Elephant Man. And that's all going to be behind a curtain. We will not see the Elephant Man at that point, but we will see one of the old traditional posters for when the Elephant Man was being displayed.
Interesting.
Treves will go, be flabbergasted by what he sees and says, I need to examine him. Let me examine him. The next scene will reveal John Merrick. And my idea for this is that Berto, who is my John Merrick, will be standing there on top of a platform, and there will be an actual picture of John Merrick projected. And as Treves reads the description of Merrick, Roberto will contort himself when it describes that his right arm was large and extended and really nothing more than a flipper. His hand contorts. But then there's a segment where he says, and his left hand was undiminished. It was very, very feminine, that a woman would have wanted that hand. And he will turn, and I joked with him when we were blocking that. I said, have you ever seen Zoolander? I dated myself. I said, you're a hand model, and you're showing your hand, that it's not deformed. And Berto and I are going through a lot. We had a 10-minute discussion last night. He goes, I'm doing this with my mouth. Is that okay? And I said, that's fine. Again, this is live theater. The most important thing is for you to be heard. If we can't hear you, no amount of acting that you're going to do is going to save you.
I'm glad that we're on the same page about that, that if you're not projecting to the back of the house, get off the stage.
Well, and I sat there in the theater, and you know this, and we went through exercises with Jenny.
Jennifer.
For a second, I couldn't remember her name. Jenny Harbor, as she was directing on that, on this, and she said, "Speak and let your voice echo off the back of the theater." And so I'm there in the theater, and I'm like, folks, we don't get microphones in this theater. You have to project with what God gave you. And I'm sitting there talking, and they're looking back behind them, hearing the echo off the back wall. And then I also said, and the acoustics in this theater are terrible.
Yeah, there's a couple spots you kind of need to aim for.
You know, you can be on here and you can be projecting what you think is loud. People on the sixth row can't hear you. But people back in the green room whispering are causing accidents in the middle of Barrow Avenue because it's echoing so bad to get them. But yeah, we're not doing any special makeup like that. It's going to be Berto contorting to do it. And he is already becoming a different person.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Elephant Man at ACT, and that opens February 20th. Runs through March 1st, and we're gonna wrap this down a little bit today, Mike. But I want to have you back on because you're doing these this theater information, which is on Facebook, and you can follow you on Facebook if you want access to that.
Yeah, you can. You know, it sounds almost self-serving. You know, follow me. Well, I don't care if you follow me because I also share that on several places. And the first and foremost is the Abilene, Texas theater scene page. And we've got a QR code for that. If you just go out to Facebook, you can find it. And I share that list every week on that page. I also share it on the arts and community our Abilene Arts and Community Happenings. There's several places.
So it's out there. And it's out there. And it's a great list. It's really, really helpful, especially if you're trying to figure out, oh, is there something that I could audition for? Or what's the middle school show coming up, or what's happening at Hardin Simmons. You can see it. You can have that on your calendar.
And I try to make that easy because I run into actors all the time
Yeah.
that, oh, I wish I had known that ACT was doing that.
Yep.
Oh, Paramount's doing a show. I wish I had known.
Yep. Well, here's a way.
Yeah, there's a way. And I've got an email that I send out weekly.
Very good.
That is the same thing.
Very good.
And we've got the link to Sam, and he can post that. But
Well, I definitely want to amplify that by having you come back on more regularly. Even if we're not doing the full Travi Wavi, we could do a little parceled out theater segment. Maybe we can both see some of the same shows and give some gentle critique depending on what it is we see. We don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, but it's something that Abilene hasn't had since we don't really have a paper anymore. Is sort of a regular.
And that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, right.
For me, I come from an old newspaper family, and so seeing. My dad worked for the Avalanche Journal in Lubbock for almost his. Shout out to the 806. He worked for the AJ for most of his career, and. I remember I would go, and I didn't know the difference between the newsroom and the advertising bullpen because he was in advertising. He didn't write for the paper. He created ads that went in the paper. But they had a staff of 150, 250 people. I literally wept when the Reporter News went to just delivery by mail and a staff of 5 that is even less now.
And we lost the printing press used to be right across the street, which is now a wonderful park.
Yeah.
But
and thank you for the park, but
we lost our newspaper.
Yes.
And even though we still have some TV stations, it's just not the same. Even like 10 years ago, it's just not the same.
And we could get into a whole nother discussion there about the change of media delivery.
And so this is something that we continue to produce and put out every week. Some locally sourced content, trying to cover subjects that I think are interesting, that the audience might think is interesting, and maybe
bring
helping
back Gary.
Yeah, well, I'll bring back Gary for sure. He's easy. But to push forward this idea that live theater is an art form that's still very much alive. It's a really wonderful way to connect with your community, with others, even just to go watch something and sit in an audience with other people and have that shared experience of something that is live and now and sacred in that moment. And so we're going to continue to promote theater.
Thank you.
And I'll continue to try to get your list out, and we'll have you back on. We'll talk about theater and anything. I mean, I'm going to come see Elephant Man. Is there anything coming up? Well, Abilene High School is doing, oh, you're going to kill me, Grace and Kyle. Bring It On. And I think that opens the 22nd, 23rd of January.
I haven't heard. I need to find out when it is so I can make sure that goes on my list.
I think that's what my daughter told me.
So
I know that's coming up soon. There's a lot of good theater coming up this spring all over town.
There is. And one of the things actors always ask, and you mentioned it, auditions. I have a separate section at the top of the list because you and I can both attest to this as actors. We've got a short attention span. We're thinking about what's coming next. I've got a section on auditions. Auditions, and my wife couldn't believe this. Auditions for the Abilene Shakespeare Festival are on January 25th.
January 25th.
So this month. For shows that are going to be in June.
Yep. But those will be, Adam Hester and Gary Varner directing.
Yes.
That'll be always fun.
So we've got auditions for that coming up. At ACT, the next show after Elephant Man is Arsenic and Old Place, directed by our friend Gary Varner.
It's a good show.
I'm going to be there auditioning for it.
Good.
There's one of two roles that I would love to have. And I don't know if Gary will take a risk on me or not, or if I may just be one of the men killed by the old ants and then stuffed in the the basement. I'll be the spear chunker for that. I don't care. I want to be on stage with Gary or for Gary again. You mentioned Sound of Music. Sound of Music auditions are coming up
like in March maybe. Yeah.
It hasn't hit that 2-month window, so it hasn't rolled in. Everything that's at ACT is open audition, and I am adamant that I don't precast. So I go in maybe with a dream cast of what kind of person would I like to see in this, but it's always different. Every show is open auditions. So everybody has a chance. I've got one lady in Elephant Man who has never, well, I've got two that have never been on stage at ACT, but I've got one gal who's never been in theater in Abilene before.
That's great. That's great.
I love getting new people in because what's going to keep theater alive? Well,
fresh blood.
For producing theater, fresh blood, getting those new people on stage. For the continued life of the patronage of theater, getting people in the door and seeing that it's still relevant. Elephant Man is a story that takes place in the 1880s. Why would I want to see that? Oh, let's see. What can we say about the dehumanization of people and them recovering that? You know, it's what's playing out today without getting overly political. So.
Well, I encourage our wonderful audience to check out Mike Stevens' Facebook page or anywhere on Facebook. If you look up theater stuff, you're going to find his wonderful lists, and they do come out regularly.
Weekly. Every Wednesday. You know what? And I mentioned this, and I don't necessarily like bringing it up except as an aside. It even came out when I was down with my stroke. That Wednesday following my stroke on a Thursday, it came out the day before my stroke. It came out a week afterwards. I haven't missed it.
I like that.
And because I don't know that it's important, but in my mind, I'm doing my part.
That's how I feel about the Travi Wavi.
Well, it's kind of
it's a labor of love.
My favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Bailey Building and Loan was a labor of love. And to quote Paul Bailey, I think what we're doing does help. It does make a difference. We're making it so the little person can have a home. I don't know how much effect what I'm doing really has to theater in Abilene, but if I get one person in the theater to see a show, that's one more person that hadn't been there. And they've discovered what theater can do.
That's good. That's good.
That's what
good.
I want to do.
I think we're going to leave it right there because that's a great quote. Friends, stick around. The Breakdown with Ben is coming up next. I'd love to have you come down next week, Thursday around 10, and join us in our live audience, serving Majestic coffee next door, allegedly serving Onyx coffee. It's one of my personal favorites. Mike, thank you so much for your time, your talents, your gifts, and the way that you share them.
I appreciate this. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Been great.
And it's been good. We'll get you back on. We'll find another little theater section that we can do together. This is going to be good. And I'm looking forward to seeing Elephant Man.
I'm looking forward to you seeing it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to you getting back on stage sometime.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Let's see you show up. See, I'm not going to be showing up for the Paramount probably. It depends on what happens with the auditions for Shakespeare. I don't know if I can do that many right there. You got to sometimes you got to make a choice.
Yeah, sometimes you got to make a choice. Well, Sam Wolf, producer extraordinaire, Tim Prozier from In Focus Digital, live audience, thank you out for being here today and for helping make the Travi Wavi possible once again. We'll bring you another fabulous guest next week. And until then, we'll see ya.